The man who gave us
Where the bloody hell are you?
says the government's $1.2 billion ticket to recovery plan to slash airfares to 13 Aussie tourism destinations is
about trying to get targeted support to those Australians on the ground who need more tourists in those communities.
The plan will allow 800,000 interstate travellers to fly to selected locations for half price between April and July. And even though Queensland won big with 5 of the 13 chosen destinations, they're not happy with the keyword interstate.
The biggest problem of all, Speaker, Queenslanders are prohibited from holidaying in their own state under this half-baked, half-price ticket scheme.
Why did Hervey Bay miss out? Why did Maryborough miss out? Why did Bundaberg miss out? What does the Prime Minister have against Queensland?
As far as some other states are concerned, Queensland's not exactly hard done by.
The tourism problems in Queensland is completely self-inflicted, and that didn't have to be the case.
New South Wales got just one destination subsidised, Merimbula, a town so far south of Sydney it's practically in Victoria. Meanwhile, in actual Victoria,
it's just not reasonable for a federal, supposedly tourism scheme to be used in a way that is so inequitable and which forgets large parts of the tourism industry, not just in Victoria, but in places like New South Wales and WA as well.
But the PM says the destination choices were data-driven.
What we've done with the support of Austrade and other advisors is to identify those initial places that not only where tourism is a very significant part of their local economy, but international tourism.
While independent data does broadly back up the destinations selected by the government, there are thousands of businesses and hundreds of towns still reeling from domestic border closures, not to mention a multitude in our capital cities still waiting for the promised recovery.
Of course, we want to see the domestic borders remain open, and that'll ensure the benefits of this package flows through to those who need it most. And so, of course, we would expect premiers to want the flow of this benefit into their states.
Well, Dean Long is the CEO of the Accommodation Association, and he joins us now. Dean, it seems that most states feel hard done by here, even the ones that have done better than most. Are they being reasonable?
I think what we're seeing is the states respond to a package that really didn't do what it was saying it was going to do. If it's about supporting our international destinations, Far North Queensland has 38% of their visitors from international source markets. Sydney and Melbourne, it's above 70%. So the package needs to be expanded to really support those markets that have been damaged by the international border closures.
Dean, you represent hotels, motels and caravan parks around the country. Isn't there an argument that this money for flights actually generates money for those businesses as well?
Overall, the package of demand in supporting aviation is a fantastic idea. It will get people moving around. Our issue isn't with the structure of the package, it's how the destinations were chosen and how they're stimulating some of the areas which don't need to be as stimulated as our cities and some of those other destinations that the package missed.
Broome is one of the more surprising inclusions when I saw the list. Last year it was dubbed the new Bali because of the number of West Aussies that were heading there when they were stuck in their own state. Why do you think it made the list?
Look, I'm not sure who was advising the government. We made it very, very clear as an industry that a lot of our regional destinations are going very, very well. There's a strong pent-up leisure demand. We're seeing that. It's our corporate and international destinations that didn't receive the support in this package. So we're not sure how the government came up with that list.
OK, so the government says they're going to consider opening it up to other regions. Where exactly do you want them to look?
We have to look front and centre at Sydney and Melbourne. It's a bit of a reverse thinking. Pre-COVID, our global cities didn't need this level of support. But the reality is now, with those international border closures, no corporate travel and no international travel, those cities have to be supported. So this program has to be expanded immediately to include the capital cities.
Dean, you live in one of those global cities, Sydney, and I'm sure you get some pretty sweet hookups, great deals, but these tickets are half price, bro. So if you can go anywhere, where do you want to go?
If I'm looking to get out of Sydney, which is my favourite city in the world, I can't wait to get over to Perth. I think, getting at Perth is one of my favourite domestic locations to visit. It'd be great to be able to use some of these vouchers to get over to Perth at half price. It's a really long haul trip for most Australians, and Perth would be an amazing place to get over to.
Absolutely, and PVO has some great hookups in Perth as well. Did you want maybe to have Dean over at your parents-in-law's place?
Catch up off camera about Perth. I love it as well. Can't get there fast enough.
It's always the way. Well, look, as long as we're staying in a formal accommodation in the cities, that's the best place to stay and the safest place to stay.
And Dean, don't worry, when Susie uses the term hookups, she's not casting aspersions. You're all good. We know
Excellent.
We're talking professionally.
Very
That's
professional
wonderful.
hookups.
And travelly as well. Thanks a lot for joining us this evening.
Great to be with you.
With so much content online, it's sometimes hard to keep up with it all. And let's face it, who has the time? The Project YouTube has you covered with the stories that matter. Hit subscribe for a daily list of the news that you need to know.